Hi, I'm Johanna and welcome to my channel. If you're new here or not, please consider hitting the like button on this video if you so choose, and also please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, I want to give a disclaimer. I usually try but sometimes forget to give this disclaimer on all my videos, that my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I don't want to encourage anyone to purchase anything. I don't represent companies, I don't work with companies, and this channel is just my outlet, my creative outlet. And I want to share with you because I have a collection of perfumes. I want to go through them and share what I think about them with you and what I have found out in my research. The fragrance that I want to talk with you about today is by Bourbon French Parfums in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's an American company. I think it's considered niche, and the fragrance is called Voodoo Love. And there's a very short description that I want to read to you from the Bourbon French Parfums website. It doesn't say anything about the notes on the website. It says, Marie Laveau became known as the most powerful voodoo queen in the world. This deep, earthy fragrance is a recreation of the special potion Marie Laveau gave to her favored clients so they could gain the object of their affections. So my impressions of this fragrance, I've had this for about 8 months, and you see how much I've used. This fragrance is very creamy, soft. It's hard to find the notes. It's hard to pick out the notes at first. And at first I was thinking this was the most subtle and soft fragrance by Bourbon French Parfums that I have. I have like maybe 15 of their fragrances. I was thinking this was the softest one, but then I picked out another one and to compare it with, and it's called Amour, and that was released in 2012. However, when I compared them side to side, I realized that this fragrance, Voodoo Love, is not as soft as Amour. Amour is a more vanillic, cherry fragrance, and this one is very much, it's got cinnamon. This one's got cinnamon, and the cinnamon really does stand out, especially when comparing it to Amour. So my impressions on wearing this fragrance. When you first spray it, it's very warm, and it's very warm on the skin. You can actually feel a warm sensation on your skin, especially if you're comparing it to another fragrance on your other wrist. I attribute that to the cinnamon in here. And yes, so the cinnamon is a little woody, you know, it's spicy, but it's also woody. I debate whether there could be other, well, I know that there are other notes that they don't disclose. And I'm considering maybe there could be clove and even nutmeg in this fragrance. I also think that it is very likely an amber fragrance. It's not as resinous as a lot of amber fragrances, and it's just much softer in that way. Also the vanilla. So this house, Bourbon French Parfums, whenever they put vanilla in a fragrance, I have noticed that their vanilla comes across as very smooth and creamy, whereas vanilla in most fragrances, especially modern fragrances, but most fragrances that I've smelled, when they have vanilla in them, that vanilla seems a lot more powdery and sweet. This vanilla is not so sweet. It's more creamy. It's got more of a creamy texture, and it's not that powdery. At least for me, this fragrance isn't very powdery. And so that is a difference with this house in general. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what vanilla materials they're using, but I think it's different than what we normally see in fragrances, especially modern fragrances. So regarding the woody aspect of this fragrance, I really don't detect anything woody. Like, I don't think there's patchouli in here. It's not at all detectable. And Parfumo says vetiver. Vetiver can be used and it doesn't have to stand out. So there could be vetiver in here, but I don't specifically detect vetiver. This is just a very smooth, creamy, sweet, on the sweet side, fragrance. And the sweet aspect of it comes from the cinnamon, in my opinion. And I was really wondering about, in voodoo, for instance, or like folklore, magical traditions, or religious traditions, what might be the significance of their using lilac in this fragrance? Because normally you think of a love potion, you know, this is supposed to attract people's love interests if they wear it. And so why did she use lilac? And I don't know how Bourbon French perfumes might have obtained some idea of what she did use when she made this love potion for her clients, because it was like, what? It was like almost 100 years later, after she passed away, that they created this fragrance in 1970. So what access did they have? They're in New Orleans. This is where she practiced. There is a voodoo museum there, and there's probably a lot of information, but it's probably pretty secret too, as far as what she would have actually used. So what is the significance of lilac, and why didn't she use rose? So I did quite a bit of research and I found a few things. Lilac is associated with protection and warding off like negative energy, and it can also boost energies. And it's also one of the first flowers to bloom in spring, which means that for spiritual practitioners, it would symbolize rebirth and renewal. And so that is different for lilac than for rose. Rose is traditionally associated with romance, attraction, but I think of rose as probably being too strong for this love potion. Like, she would have probably had some ethics in her voodoo practice, and rose is considered more of an aphrodisiac. But if she was giving this to people to wear and attract someone, she's probably wanting to put something more protective in there, so that they're not just attracting whoever they wear this around, but maybe something more discerning than that. And also new love interests. Like, she probably, if she had, you know, these ethics that I'm thinking about, I think her ethics would have put into consideration, you know, bringing in a new potential fling or flirtation, you know, just getting it started, but not compelling someone to fall in love and be with you, because that would not work out in the long run. So I think of that as probably one reason why she would use lilac in this fragrance instead of rose. And I don't detect any rose here either. I don't detect any rose. Also, you know, lilac is not as like common in perfumery as rose is, and so that would set her fragrance apart. On Fragrantica, they only list one fragrance that people say smells similar to Voodoo Love, and I don't think I'll know how to pronounce this, but it was a fragrance that was released in 1889 from LT Piver Parfums, Paris. And then there's the note of cinnamon. And I wanted to do some research on that as well to see what the meaning of cinnamon would be in this fragrance. So in folklore and magic, common themes include protection and warding. It is believed to ward off negative energies or spirits due to its perceived warmth and strength. Also, for love and attraction, its sweet scent is often linked to romantic love and attracting desirable partners. In some spiritual traditions, cinnamon is believed to enhance spiritual practices, encourage introspection, and promote enlightenment. There is the aspect of protection here as well. and promoting introspection and enlightenment. It's also considered to be cleansing and promoting spiritual awareness. There's a popular ritual that modern magical practitioners do, which involves blowing cinnamon, powdered cinnamon, from your front door into your home to promote good energy and abundance. And regarding the use of vanilla. Vanilla has been associated with water and Venus and is commonly found in calming, personal empowerment, good luck, and love rituals. Sometimes vanilla incense is burned to attract love, increase sexual desire, and improve the powers of the mind. And vanilla and cinnamon are often used together in love spells and also spells for success. Vanilla incense is commonly used in love and passion spells and is known to enhance feelings of inner peace and comfort. And it's also used to improve mental awareness. The combination of vanilla and cinnamon often are said to be used in healing rituals because they both have strong love associations and are very helpful at drawing the one you desire to you. Lilacs also symbolize the promise of new beginnings and represent rebirth and growth. In Victorian England, lilacs were a symbol of love and remembrance, often given to loved ones as a sign of devotion. And on the energetic level, lilac flowers are associated with first love and the planet of Venus. And some of this goes back to ancient Greece and mythology. As the legend goes, the Greek god Pan fell in love with a nymph named Syringa. He followed her, but she hid from him and turned into a lilac shrub. In some magical traditions, lilacs are a romantic sort of flower. They're associated with playful flirtation and the blooming of new love and short attractions. Lilacs may not bring you a marriage proposal, but if you're looking for a short and light summer romance with no long-term ties, it's the perfect flower to use in spell work. It's also used in protection magic or love spells, and in banishing and getting rid of negative energies. Regarding this fragrance, I would describe it as smooth, creamy, vanillic with spicy notes, which mainly I detect as cinnamon. So the cinnamon is very perceptible, and there isn't a lot else that I can really perceive here with this fragrance. It doesn't last very long, and it really does not project at all. And I've seen, and I believe this is probably true, that, you know, if you were trying to attract a love interest, you wouldn't necessarily want this fragrance to project really far because you wouldn't want it to be affecting everybody that you meet. You would want it to be perceivable by someone that was close in proximity to you, not everyone else. So it's a subtle, smooth fragrance. It's calming, and it doesn't attract attention whatsoever. It does not attract attention, doesn't attract compliments, and as far as whether it works or not, I can't say. I can't tell you that. But I did think that it was a pretty interesting concept, and I love how it's based on the history of Laveau and Voodoo, and I'm really glad that I have this fragrance. I'm really glad that I have it. And I've used quite a bit of it because it doesn't project, and I wanted to be able to smell it on myself, which I really can't. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.